Hi everyone, this is Cameron, the co-host and editor of Renegade Animation on renegadepopculture.com. If you like what we do, please give us a like, a follow, and a rating on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to us. We are everywhere where podcasts can be found, and that includes YouTube. If you can, consider supporting our Patreon. That way we can keep doing what we love, and that's talking about the wild, Annie Award-filled world of animation. And now, on with the show.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a brand new episode of Renegade Animation on the Renegade Pop Culture Podcast Network. My name is Mike. I'll be your host for this evening. Joining me, as always, is the animation guru himself, Cameron.
Howdy, howdy.
And everyone's favorite Crazy Lemur, Bree.
Hello, first episode of 2026.
Yes, and we still have some 2025 unfinished business to get to, but one of the things that we have to talk about is the Annie Award nominations, which just were announced this morning.
So let's talk about them Annies, the actual award show that matters for everything animation. Anyway, let's go with the two major ones. First up, Best Feature, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie or the Character of Rain, The Bad Guys 2, and Zootopia. Just like a known Sesame Street jingle would go, one of these things is not like the other.
Honestly, I would probably say might be one or two to three of these are not like the other.
But, I mean, let's just get out of the way. We all know what we're talking about here. Where the fuck are the Smurfs? Oh, wait. They're nowhere to be found.
Their invitation was lost in the mail.
That's what they say, so. Anyway, yeah. Why is Little Amelie or the Character of Rain in Best Feature? Now, you know, this isn't because of a quality issue. We adored Little Amelie or the Character of Rain. It's one of the best animated films of the year. It's my personal favorite. It's probably the one that could possibly win against K-Pop Demon Hunters at the Oscars, but why is it in the Best Feature category when normally a film like that is in the Best Feature Independent / Foreign category?
I mean, the only other time I recall something of that competing in Best Feature would be The Boy and the Heron.
And I wonder if that has something to do with G-Kids.
Maybe, but at least with Boy and the Heron, you could make the argument that Ghibli is enough of a mainstream studio that it would be able to compete in that. Because I don't think, in all honesty, you could call, Ghibli an indie studio.
Oh, absolutely not. Especially
not. In Japan, you got Ghibli, you got Comics, you got Chizu, you got all the other anime studios that dabble in movies like Science Saru, Wit, and what have you. But Ghibli is like its own thing. It's just funny that Little Amelie got put into here when, well, why? Like, was the US feature side of things this bad this year? Or it just really reinforces how bad it was this year for the US side of animation that they were like...
Yeah, I think it's the latter because I was kind of talking to like another writer on Blue Sky this morning, not for the other thing that we talked about earlier, but yeah, I kind of feel like this is like, I don't know if indictment might be too strong of a word, but I think this is just really telling of how bad things have been like industry wise the last year. And just if you look at like the stuff that we've covered over the last year with like overseas animation and then compare it to this, it's like getting an ice bath.
Yeah. Because like they weren't seriously going to put in Smurfs, SpongeBob, or I mean, at the very least, I would understand if Dogman got in there, but they weren't going to do that or put in some of the other ones like the Twits or In Your Dreams.
Actually, that's the thing. With all of the pomp and circumstance that Netflix did for In Your Dreams, like having a big premiere back in November or late October, I'm kind of shocked that that's not the fifth slot in that category.
I think it wasn't good enough to get in there. And I know subjectivity is a thing. Art is subjective. You may like this thing and I might not. Whatever. But there has to be a quality assurance kind of thing.
Yeah, like my thing too. Like this was big of more of a shocker than with the obvious red flag is. I'm shocked the Bad Guys 2 is here because no one's talked about that movie at all.
Which is a shame because it's a great movie, but then nobody went to see it. And then no animation YouTubers decided to cover it outside of maybe one or two. It's like, I guess they were too busy talking about South Park or telling people who were harassing animators for fix to get a life and chill the fuck down. But really, it is kind of damning. I mean, seriously, think about it. You go from Dogman all the way to June for something US related, animation wise.
That is a huge, huge drought.
February, March, April, May, nothing. Then June is like, oh, we got Predator, Killer of Killers, Elio, and K-pop Demon Hunters. Which then, Elio, like, I don't want to say this is a conspiracy theory. I don't want to, like, to be clear, if anything I say about Elio right now, like starting now, ends up with some of you animation fans going out and harassing people who worked on Elio, fuck you, you're scum. Do not harass them. With that said, has Elio been going through some kind of redemption tour since June? Because it seems like everyone, and I know some people will be like, well, what about the Rotten Tomato scores? They're both pretty high for a Pixar movie, and it's just like, yeah, but those are aggregation sites. And you can have all the most critically acclaimed reviews in the world. People still did not end up showing up for Elio. Because, I mean, it was the same weekend where K-pop Demon Hunters came out. And, well,
we all know how that story went.
Yeah, K-pop ate the lunch of almost every other animated film that came out this year. Basically, pretty much did. All from the comforts of Netflix. While, like, Elio just kind of crashed and burned, and then the whole editorial came out about what happened with Elio's original vision, getting screwed over by Pixar executives, and the original director basically getting shunted to work on Coco 2, which, yeah, I would feel pretty great having my passion project story taken away from me and told to go work on a pointless sequel. Cool.
Yeah, got the good old Brenda Chapman treatment.
Ouch.
Hey, or the Kubo and the Two Strings situation also, so. But it just seems like Elio has been getting a lot more support, and while it is gaining nominations throughout all these award circuits, it's not winning them. But I don't know. It's like I saw the cinema therapy video about Elio, and listen, it was a good video. It talked about some good stuff. It made me want to rewatch Elio. But let's not also forget the fact that they've all, like, as good as they are as a channel, have personally gone to Pixar Studios and talked with the directors there about movies, like in the Pixar's very own little theater room that they have. I've been trying to find ways to talk about this because I feel like your entire dynamic in relationship with a studio changes when you are allowed that kind of access.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I agree.
It just makes me kind of think, did Pixar go to cinema therapy and say, I feel bad for saying, like, can you glaze Elio for us and be like, this is one of my favorite Pixar movies. Easily one of the most underrated movies of the year and one of my favorites.
You think there's some sort of payola, something happening, not literally, but in a similar spirit?
I do think that once you start taking invitations to studios, you are going to be put under a more critical lens of how you talk about those films. It's like when video game influencers and content creators go to very much paid promotional events for video games. Like, there was the whole Payday 3 fiasco where a lot of influencers went there and then were like gassing up the game. And then when the game launched, it was a broken mess. And all the creators that were there basically stayed quiet about it and did not mention anything about it, despite the fact that they were paid to go there to the studio to play a version of the game that apparently wasn't broken, and then act like, oh wow, wasn't that wacky about the game being busted on launch? And it's like, yeah, what happened? What did you experience?
Yeah, that's no bueno.
So to me, it's like, and it sounds crazy. Why the hell would Disney, of all companies, this multi-billion-dollar company, go out of their way to do some kind of sneaky To Leslie style,
like damage control?
Yeah, damage control and redemption tour for the movie, because of just how bad everything else this year this was for U.S. animation. Like, thank God for Zootopia 2, or else I don't think Disney would have had a leg in this race.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you that Zootopia 2, at least for Disney, came in at just the right time.
Yeah, because they needed like a W so bad, because this has been such a, like, 2025 was such a trash fire, and a lot of it's their own making. And like, I'm not talking about like the individual people like behind the scenes, other than like administration or like leadership or whatever, but like, and here's my other thing too. I was kind of laughing about this a little earlier. It's kind of in regard to conspiracy, Cameron. It's like, why? And especially in regards to like the animation space, because let me be honest, other than us and maybe some animation YouTubers, no one really covers the Annies. So I'm like, who is this appeal to?
It's like trying to have a wider reach, I guess, but when nobody saw The Bad Guys 2, and like the only 3 movies that people would care about in this sequence are K-pop, Little Amelie, and Zootopia 2, like, it's okay to just have 3 nominations. Having Elio there kind of just feels
like a placeholder.
A placeholder.
Yeah, I would even say that about The Bad Guys too. Like, it's like, why is this here?
Like, as good as The Bad Guys 2 is.
Yeah, like, I'd much rather do, like, 100 meters or, like, something else. Like, I don't know, like, the eligibility, but I'm sure you could have put something.
Like, it really, I'm glad for G Kids to have their big win with Little Amelie, because it's just showing up everywhere and such. But, man, y'all really beefed it with 100 meters. Not only does it get a release a week before Animation is Film, which it really should have been the opening night film at Animation is Film and not Scarlet. We'll get to that. But then they wait 3 months to finally put it out on streaming for people to watch. And it's blowing up all over Twitter. People are amazed. They love the movie. What happened?
Well, also the fact that Netflix, because that's how I found out, Netflix, oddly enough, actually are promoting 100 meters. I know, I'm just as shocked as you are.
What's this marketing you call for Netflix? No. Because, man, 100 meters is like the greatest movie that is not seen during the award season circuit. I mean, shout out to of all places, the Florida Film Critics Circle for actually acknowledging that 100 meters exists.
Hell yeah, Florida knows what's up.
Of all places.
No, Florida's based. They just have terrible government.
That sounds like Texas too here, man. So for Best Feature Independent, this one is also head-tilting. Not because of quality. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Because A Magnificent Life is nowhere to be found. Sony has not put out anything about this movie because of its mixed response from Annecy. So it's like, why are you dangling this film around when barely anyone has been able to see it? And it's like the Triplets of Belleville director. People would want to see this even if they think it's bad. But I don't know. And then, like, of course, Arco was going to be in there. It's probably going to be the big winner there.
Yeah.
I Am Frankelda is also like, I'm very happy about this. The directors and the producer that I talked to at Animation is Film were very nice, very fun, honest people. And I mean, Mexico's first stop motion feature in history. That, like, I would slap it on there for that sake alone. But, well, nobody's been able to see it unless you were at Animation is Film. And unfortunately, I was sitting down at the Pretty Please, I Don't Want It to Be a Magical Girl panel. So I had to miss out on I Am Frankelda, which sucks. I want to see that movie. Also, justice for lesbian space princess, man. God dang it.
Yeah. I think the problem is, I know, because I think it was like Kevin Timmer who animates the Digital Circus. I don't think the fee to actually like get in for like to compete is like super expensive for the Annie Awards compared to a lot of the other big award shows. But I think the problem becomes if you're like a really small like mom and pop operation, and then you have to do like travel and everything, it's really hard for a lot of smaller films to compete realistically.
Oh yeah, no, I think like during the To Leslie fiasco, they talked about how I think they said $20,000 or something like that was to get into like to submit to the Oscars or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
a pretty hefty.
I think the Annie Awards is only a couple $100.
So, I mean, man, it's like Cineverse beefed that one too because Lesbian Space Princess is great. One of the most charming, delightful experiences ever. And then one of Mike and I's favorite movies made it in. Lost in Starlight, the South Korean animated feature, which so good, y'all. Just please watch that movie. It is so freaking good.
Yes.
Just a beautiful adult animated feature that's what everyone wants, but then nobody shows up for. So,
which is always just frustrating because people ask for things that are out there, but then I guess because people are just lazy and don't want to do the work, they miss out on the good stuff.
Engaging with art, you actually have to put in some effort. I know, this is shocking.
Hey, golly. Like, it's funny. They're like, we don't want adult animated films, like, fixed. Then it's like, okay, well, have you seen Lost in Starlight? Who? Precisely.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, what's that? And it's like, it's on Netflix. It is? And it's like, fucking Netflix and their advertising, man. And Scarlet was the last nomination for Best Feature Independent. And two things. One, I'm happy for Hosoda. I'm happy that Sony Pictures Classics is getting some love with Scarlet and like some support for it. It's a good movie. It is also the weakest movie in this category. And it is nominated for multiple categories. Or what, like just two, I think?
Yeah, it's, I think they're just directing and writing.
Writing, which the latter honestly baffled me.
Yeah, it's not the best written movie. So it's like, what are you doing in there? Also, something that I'm actually kind of amazed by. I mean, maybe not shocked, but am kind of perplexed by. Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer are nowhere to be found in the independent category. Chainsaw Man shows up, I think, once for
Best Direction.
So I'm amazed with two of the biggest anime films of the year.
And one of them's up for a Golden Globe.
Yeah, so what's up?
It's like 80s. I know you want to be like different, but it's like I was Scarlet in like anyone's like top like 20? I'm like I don't.
It's in my top
understand.
20, but it's also like not
like on the short list. I mean.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. No, I don't think it is, and I don't think it will be. Like, I don't think we're going to see this at all at the Oscars, like, knock on wood, but...
No, like, legit, I think at this point, you probably have a better chance of seeing Demon Slayer or, like, Chainsaw Man at the Oscars.
Honestly, I agree.
Yeah.
It's just, like, there were so many good indie animated films from overseas. Well, not... I guess I feel kind of bad calling every foreign animated film indie because it's like, really?
Well, I mean, a lot of them are. I mean, because they get public fund arts. Like, wow, Wish I knew her.
Absolutely. But there are some other weird omissions. Bree, why don't you bring up the ones that you were surprised by?
So the biggest surprise, I'm like, wow, really? And this is like ironic coming from me. Let me just preface it with that. But I am actually shocked that Has Been Hotel is not there for Best Board. The only representation it has is for Best Voiceover. But considering, like, I think all three of us are in agreement that on like a technical level and to an extent a storytelling level, like season 2 of Has Been is bar none like a drastic improvement from the first season, and they are doing a lot more complicated animation that you have to plan out for, and I am like shocked that it's not there for best storyboarding, because I'll just be honest, I don't think any of the other nominees in that category are like that significantly better. Now, this is not me glazing the show, because everyone knows I have issues with the show, but if we're basing, the nomination on everyone's technical prowess, it really should be here, because especially, like, not even just the musical numbers like Gravity or Brighter, but, like, the fight scenes and, like, the rotating camera work, like, you have to plan all that shit out. So I'm just kind of, like, baffled that it's not represented in any of the technical categories.
It's amazing how the first season, everyone was loving it. We're going to give it so many awards. And now it's like, I guess some voiceover work is fine. I mean, yeah, looking at best storyboarding, you got Love, Death, and Robots for the horror short How Zeke Got Religion, Paranorman, The Thrifting, which, that's a theatrical short, man. What the heck is it doing in TV media?
Yeah, what the hell?
I think it's like a catch-all category. It's like media, so I guess shorts are included. I mean, it's not a full-length movie.
I mean, I
agree
good,
with you. It's stupid,
but I know it's. I mean, then again, there's also like Snow Bear, which is Aaron Blaze's short, and then Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is here, and Win or Lose, which okay, I get, but you think like best song or best music or something like that would get in, even though we've said on the podcast that Has Been Hotel's season 2's soundtrack is not very good, but you at least would think
like Gravity, you
Gravity or
would be on
Easy
there.
should be on there, but I guess they just weren't feeling it or something. So it did something to piss off the voters. I don't know what. So maybe everyone was like Has Been Hotel fans, and they're just like, no, we don't like how it ended. No awards.
Or how dare you unionize?
Yeah, or something like that.
Oh boy.
Oh god, wouldn't that be like the biggest dumpster fire news? Was like, yeah, we got omitted from awards because we unionized.
You know, it's like bad that like I'm jokingly saying that, but that could be true.
Oh god.
Oh god. I mean, even for like best voice acting, it's like, I mean, granted, we haven't seen Long Story Short, which we will, but like really this one random character from Smiling Friends got in, but okay, whatever. It's just, and best voice acting for a feature, like, it's funny to see the Twits show up so much in the technical aspects of it, because it's like, really, best production design? Okay. And I don't think In Your Dreams got in here once. Like, I'm looking through it all right now.
Actually, In Your Dreams got in for best voice acting for, surprise, surprise, Greg Robinson.
Well, yeah, for Baloney Tony, of course he did, because Baloney Tony's the best character of that movie. And of course it's Craig Robinson, who, like, if you don't like Craig Robinson, we're going to have issues as friends. So.
Oh, and I do see one more for best VFX feature.
It's like, I guess Netflix is like, listen, we're going to just milk K-pop for all it's worth. It's probably going to take home all of the awards it's nominated for. I think it's nominated for 10 different awards.
10 or 12, let me see.
I mean, the vibes I'm getting, like, this is a very Mitchells versus the Machines type of vibes, because if I recall correctly, Mitchell's also kind of came out in because of COVID and everything, in a rather subpar year.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. It's like, this is a weird lineup. I mean, there are some really good ones. I'm glad to see not just a goof in best special production for the documentary, because
Oh, hell yeah.
that animation was really freaking good, and it did help paint a better context of what it was like to be there. They even did the nice thing and kept Jeffrey Katzenberg short. There are some other ones that are fine. Like, I don't care about the preschool section.
No, I'm happy Tiny Chef's there.
Yeah, I'm good on the Tiny Chef show for basically doing something that no other show was able to do. And it got everyone to come together to save this one show from cancellation. Because Paramount and Nickelodeon were going to stupidly cancel this adorable freaking show because the animators got so upset about the announcement of cancellation, they made a short that just pulled at everyone's heartstrings in. Everyone just rolled up their sleeves going like, oh, hell no, you don't cancel the Tiny Chef show.
Yeah, literally the meme from Brooklyn Nine-Nine of like, I've known him for 5 minutes and I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Yeah, I've only known the Tiny Chef show for 5 minutes, but if anything happens to that show, I'll kill everyone in this room and then myself. But I mean, like, some of these others were fine. Like, I guess we gotta check out Spice Frontier, because Steamroller Animation, like, I saw bits and pieces of it, and it looked pretty good. We have not checked out Wild Pack yet, which I've heard was... Well, I mean, I saw a clip of that new show, and it looked pretty charming, so...
Yeah, I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, like, the vibes for me, this feels like the 2020s version of Harvey Beak, and knowing Nickelodeon is probably gonna have the same outcome.
Oh, the unfortunate soul of it all. That Nickelodeon. Yeah, we don't like you, dude. But I'm also down for the fact that Common Side Effects showed up so many times in the nominations, which
Oh, hell yeah.
is so funny because people wouldn't rally behind Scavenger's Reign, but they did for Common Side Effects. Which, I mean, I'm not saying that as a dig towards Scavenger's Reign, but it's just like...
No, this is a dig towards animation fans.
Yes.
Anything that we say insultingly is always going to be towards animation fans.
Every time.
But also, we need to talk about the fact that the best new show of all time, just hands down in 2020's Ha Ha You Clowns, got in also for Best TV Media Mature. Which, I haven't seen a full episode, but the clips I've seen are delightful.
You have to watch. It is so good.
That's what we're going to do.
And the best thing that they did was this season is that they paired it with like Smiling Friends. So Smiling Friends was the lead-in.
That's a good
that's
idea.
Perfect.
And then I totally forgot that there was a Star Wars Visions 3. And I guess
I forgot too.
I guess
it came out on my birthday too, and we completely glided over it.
I have to watch it, but I'm glad to see that David Productions is in there. I wish they would get in at some point for JoJo's, but I'll take it.
Exactly. And, of course, shout out to Eyes of Wakanda for getting in, even though, sadly, the studio was shut down, like, right after that thing got released. I'm glad for, like, Win or Lose, and Asterix and Obelix getting in is great. I guess enough people liked Wand Law to give it a nomination for Best Visual Effects for TV Media, even though it doesn't look that great. I'm sorry. I don't think it looks good. It's not the animator's fault. It's the time crunch and work that what was it? Yeah, Skydance Animation has to go through.
Yeah, God. You know, this is where I feel bad. Like, this is the first I'm hearing of this. I kind of feel like that's on purpose.
It's not a good show. Like, it's like when what was that movie that came out in 2008? Delgo came out. And
oh, right.
I pulled that out of the vault, so...
Oh, I haven't watched Delgo, but I'm, like, imagining the visuals. I'm looking at it now. This looks like really, like, bad early 2010s, DreamWorks Netflix collab.
Yeah, it's got, like, some whimsy, and, I mean, I'll say...
Also, the poster, low-key, it looks like a ripoff of, like, Troll Hunters.
It kind of does. And... I mean, I'll say, like, I think...
This is, like, my dig at, like, Skydance, but They'd have worse Disney face than Disney. Like, all their character models look the same.
They really do.
They do, and I'm sorry, like, Wandla, as much as I want to like you because you got Gary Anthony Williams in there, it's not help. It doesn't help. Sorry. But, I digress. But really, it is just a big old reflection of this year, because even with these catch-up movies that we're talking about with The Twits, In Your Dreams, and SpongeBob in Search of SquarePants, really, we need 2026 to be better. Because not only did we get starved for months on end, the quality just wasn't there. And whether that's because of a lot of studio and executive meddling, which, yes, that's usually the case, it's like these three movies are kind of reflective of that. Because on one hand, with the SpongeBob movie, at the very least, you got the TMNT short, which basically takes a giant shit on AI. Because it says fuck AI as many ways as possible for a kid's movie. And it's really good. It's got that cool animation style. It is consistently funny. It somehow finds a way to do the fake 80s toy ad textures better than when Despicable Me 3 did it.
I was really impressed with the toy commercial. I honestly thought for a second it was an actual real commercial.
Well, what was it? Oh yeah, because the company that made the fake toys that get the TMNT's attentions, because they are like the karate tortoises or something like that. And
yeah, something like that.
And the company is called Authentic Imitations. And then the villain, I forgot what the name of the villain was, but
Chrome Dome?
Yeah, Chrome Dome. He was going over his backstory, and it was basically like AI generated from like every single origin story, going from Star Wars to Lion King to Lord of the Rings. And they're just like, man, you made up your origin story of 10 other origin stories and made them worse. Like, it's a funny short that unfortunately had to be stuck onto a SpongeBob movie. That apparently it's still doing well in the theaters, which I'm kind of impressed by, because if you look at the box office, it feels like it's kind of stagnant in its place. Like, it's barely making above its $65 million box office, I think.
And also considering that they had more of a marketing campaign behind this, with like the Burger King collab, I doubt this movie is going to break even.
It's funny how, like, Mike, you brought this up because we were kind of wondering, like, man, why didn't they go with the cool stylized animation from the worst SpongeBob movie? Which, as you know, with like the anime industry, the studio that made the SpongeBob Sponge on the Run was probably busy and couldn't do the next one. But Mike, what did you find out about In Search of SquarePants?
So I actually found out that this was originally developed as one of like the Netflix spin-off movies. Like this.
I knew it.
So we've seen the Sandy Cheeks one, which is
Garbage.
Kind of hot garbage. The Plankton movie, actually pretty good. And this was supposed to be a Mr. Krabs-centric movie. And you can actually still see the bones of that in the story structure. And the fact that a lot of the B plot of this is Mr. Krabs and Squidward going to search for SpongeBob.
And listen, I've talked about in the past saying, like, listen, continuity doesn't matter in the SpongeBob universe. Who gives a shit? Why are they treating this like SpongeBob's, like this is his first time meeting the Flying Dutchman? Like, he's been a pre-known character within the universe. Why is he, like, now treated as some weird entity? Like, that...
Like, my only logical reason is they're assuming that a lot of the introductory episodes of the Flying Dutchman are, like, close to 25, 30 years old now. So I think they're assuming that the target demo might not be as familiar with the Dutchman, since he doesn't appear as much.
That's a fair theory.
It also probably helps the fact it helps reintroduce the Flying Dutchman because he has a new voice actor. Instead of Brian Doyle Murray, it's Mark Hamill, which, I mean, if you're going to make the replacement, you got a good replacement.
I'm kind of curious why he got replaced, though.
I have a theory on this. It's because, at least for this movie, they wanted to portray the Flying Dutchman both in live action and animation, and Hamill just has the look.
Yeah, I could see that. But otherwise, it just plays out like one of those Netflix specials because it's got the normal kind of weighty CGI animation those specials have. The textures looked a little better, and they tried to do more expressive animation. They had a few pretty good facial animation moments for the characters. But it doesn't do enough to really feel theatrical, especially with the fact that they do so much montaging throughout the second half, and then the live action sequence is basically Mark Hamill on a green screen. With, like, if this was like made during the pandemic, I would understand, but it's 2025. And y'all already have a SpongeBob movie where SpongeBob walks around on land.
I was going to say, with the exception of Sponge on the Water, none of the live action scenes in any of the SpongeBob movies have ever really looked good, but this looks especially awful.
It's just like super cheap. You had Mark Hamill in a room kind of thing. And oh god, the celebrity cameos of this movie. And listen, I don't give a shit how bad the Ice Spice song.
It's like amusingly bad.
It's funny how bad and low effort it is, which kind of fits the artist. No offense, I'm not an Ice Spice fan. And it also fits her voiceover cameo, where she's just like the most dead sounding of any of the voice actors. I mean, like, come on here. Everyone else in the voice acting department, even the other celebrity cameos, are doing more. Like the George Lopez as the Paramount CEO cameo is so funny. And it's probably George Lopez at his funniest in a while that I've heard from him.
Honestly, yeah.
But also, stop putting Jerry Cola in just minor roles, Hollywood. She is so funny. She was great in Joyride. Please do not make her career suffer because Joyride is a great movie that nobody saw. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, she's been doing nothing but cameos recently, and I'm just so sick of it.
Yeah, but you know what the, like, crazy thing is? Like, I feel like each SpongeBob movie with cameos has gotten, like, progressively worse. I mean, the first movie, you know, in terms of, like, co-cast, I mean, you have, like, baby Scarlett Johansson in the first movie, and then we have, like, Jeffrey Tambor before we found out he was a major fucking creep, and then, like, Alec Baldwin. And then we go, oh, it's Ice Spice. Cool.
And then, well, it's like, the first movie, yeah, had Scarlett Johansson, Jeffrey Tambor, Alec Baldwin. I forgot that was Alec Baldwin. He did a great job as the...
No, that's the whole thing. The voice directing was great. Like, they're just acting. They just happen... Well, at that point, Scarlett Johansson wasn't an A-list celebrity.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, and then, of course, we have the greatest cameo of all time of, I'm David Hasselhoff. Hooray!
And the fact that it works is that he's like 1,000% like committed to the bit.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can't have fun with yourself, then what are you doing as an actor? But yeah, then like with the second movie, it was, what, Antonio Banderas as...
Yeah.
And then Matt Berry, I think, were the other only two. And then
Matt Berry is the dolphin, which I'm like, okay, I see you, movie, I see you.
Because, I mean, I'm not going to say no to Matt Berry. And then in the third one, there was the Keanu Reeves cameo. That overstayed its welcome because it's just like, it wasn't funny enough. Or, because Keanu can be very funny and very self-aware. Like, just watch Always Be My Maybe. It is probably one of the funniest performances from a romantic comedy, where he plays like a heightened version of himself in that movie. It's great. But in the third movie, it's just there. Matt Berry shows up again as King Trident in that character's third visual change-up. I swear he's taking the substance, and that's why he looks different every time. And then Aquafina was the robot that Sandy Cheeks made in the movie, which she barely did anything. And here it's like, I get it. Ice Spice was trying to be all those lethargic, like, I hate being here teenagers who hate their jobs and such, but you gotta put in some kind of spice with that character. It's also just like a movie that was all about SpongeBob's gotta grow up and be a man. Wait, we did this plot line already. Which,
yeah, I know, and it's considered probably like one of the best animated features of like the 2000s. Which, you know what, I'm like, I feel stupid that I didn't clock this earlier, but someone mentioned it when comparing to like Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. I mean, literally, that's what the first SpongeBob movie is an adaptation of The Odyssey.
Wow, and now that you said that, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I see it.
It literally is down to the bag of wins.
Oh, God, dang it! With all the monsters and stuff, oh, God, it makes so much sense. And then it's just like, it has to clash with the Mr. Krabs subplot of Mr. Krabs being like, yeah, I was kind of a freaking loser, which, again, I don't care about continuity, but it's like the second continuity that they give Mr. Krabs in a SpongeBob movie, where at the Camp Coral, he was the fry cook, but then here, he was the cabin boy on a ship. And it's like, okay, whatever, just whatever. Just, they're malleable characters. You form them into whatever fits the plot best.
You know what it could be? You know, if we're talking about fucked up Nickelodeon conspiracy theories, like, what if it's like a live, die, repeat type of situation where they just die every day, but they have like their memories wiped, and Sandy just keeps trying to make it work to find the reality where everything is okay?
Oh, God, yeah.
And she keeps finding new realities.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. That's what it is. But it's like, Mark Hamill is a lot of fun as the Flying Dutchman. Of course, Tom Kenny and Bill Fagerbach is great as Patrick. Patrick actually has some legit great lines where, like, his stupidity is on point. Where it's just like, wait a second, you told SpongeBob he's gotta go on this new path, when this is obviously a road. And it's like, Patrick, God. Like, he's great in this movie and such. And I'll say this, it's not as obnoxious as the marketing made it out to be. It had the worst kind of children family film marketing.
Yeah, that it did. Like,
oh, so it got Transformer Wand.
not quite, not as drastic.
Not as drastic, and no, the story isn't as good. But it looked more obnoxious than it was. I was mostly bored. I went in on a Friday, like, morning, and it was empty as hell. I was the only one there. And I was just like, I wonder if this would be more enjoyable with people laughing at the jokes. But that's why it seems like so many of the characters make only cameo appearances or no appearance at all. And why, like, there's so much focus on Mr. Krabs, Squidward, and the Flying Dutchman and such. And, oh yeah, and Regina Hall's in this, which I didn't catch that she was in this until I saw the credits where she played the henchman to the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, same. I was not sure who that voice was, but I thought her character was funny. Kind of just like, she's like the Kif to the Flying Dutchman's Zap Brannigan.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's a great scene with the Flying Dutchman and her where they're like, I don't know, man, these two friends, like, they're too close. They could mess up our plan. And the Flying Dutchman's like, I agree. And see, this is why we make such good teammates. We're not friends at all. And she's like, yeah, wait, what? Oh, okay. Like, it's one of the few funny moments in the movie. And I do like Clancy Brown as Mr. Krabs. He's still doing well, even though a lot of those voice actors are kind of getting up there in the Simpsons racket of, like, their voices are definitely getting there.
We're not quite there yet. It's almost starting to be like how Mel Blanc, towards the end of his career, was losing.
Or at least with, like, SpongeBob, because Tom Kenny, like, I feel like characters like Simon's more in his natural register now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, where it was like, the problem with SpongeBob is that he needs a high octane voice, and that hurts your vocal cords after a bit. And even though there are many clips of them obviously adapting to that fact, that Tom Kenny is getting up there in terms of his voice for SpongeBob, I think the only one who hasn't missed a beat are, like, Mr. Lawrence and the actress who plays Sandy Cheeks.
Oh, Carolyn Lawrence?
Yeah,
I mean, their voices sound the same for, like, the last... Oh, in the case of Mr. Lawrence, like, the last 35 years, because he did voiceover on Rocco.
Exactly. He still sounds great. It's like everyone else, even Clancy Brown, is starting to kind of catch that, like, Marge Simpson level of, like, okay, maybe they need to work on his voice a little. Though I will say, I did like seeing him in his live action cameo at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that was fun.
And there was a little Steve Hillenburg cameo, like, in the locker rooms. One of the lockers says Stephen H. on it. And otherwise, it's just like, it can be funny. It has some interesting visuals. The color palette for In the Search of SquarePants, you know, like when, like, Ren and Stimpy would do those gross close-up still frame shots?
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It kind of looks like that color palette kind of thing. I mean, it's not super ugly, but it's that kind of grittier, grimier texture work.
Yeah, which I think maybe because when I first saw the trailer, why I wasn't vibing with it, that it just kind of looks cheaper, and it's just like this texture. It's just like something, like, feels off.
That's the problem. It's like, if they probably wanted to do the Sponge on the Run art style, but then they couldn't get the team behind it because animation is a ongoing nightmare of production woes. So they were like, well, let's go somewhere else and do it. And then, of course, obviously, with the fact that they basically ramshackled this together after it was supposed to be a Netflix special, there's a reason why it looks like it does. It's just kind of a boring nothing movie. I can understand why some people are saying it's better, because it is better than, like, the Sandy Cheeks movie or Sponge on the Run. But I don't think it's better than Sponge Out of Water or the first movie.
Or even the Plankton movie, if I'm being completely honest.
At least the Plankton movie had, like, different visual styles. Like, it had CGI, it had 2D, it had, like, rubber hose 2D. And it also had the jokes to back it up.
Because I'm looking through this, so it looks like both Sponge on the Run and Search of SquarePants were done by MCR, but so it's the same studio, I think, but I'm not sure if it was the same team.
I don't think it was the same team. I think if you're going to do the stylized CGI animation thing of, like, Last Wish, Wild Robots, Sponge on the Run, and whatever, you have to have a pretty specific team. It's like how in One Punch Man Season 1, the director was able to pull in extremely specific animators and directors for that first season, which is why it's so good, and why the other seasons have dropped off. I wonder if people are just getting sick and tired of SpongeBob in theaters, or, like, they just don't want to see TV shows or movies based on TV shows in theaters anymore, which...
Here's the thing, like, even though the first SpongeBob movie was really successful, it never cracked 100 million.
And it's like, to be fair, it wasn't using, like, a humongous all-star cast. It didn't have to have the biggest budgets. But at the same time, it's like, of course, that same budget cannot be stretched in today's economy. that it was back then. So I don't know. I feel bad that like all these animators having to work under Paramount this year had to put in some really like they did their best, but the movies just turned out bad. And I blame that on the executives in charge of these productions because
Oh, I'm actually just doing like some research because I'm trying to get down. So it looks like Mikros, which also did Mutant Mayhem, worked on Sponge on the Run. Because that is a weird thing. Since Paramount outsources animation, it's kind of hard sometimes to track down who did what.
yeah, it's like when Warner Brothers does it. It's like at the very least with Warner Brothers, you can kind of tell who they get to do their movies. Like Smallfoot and Storks was done by Sony Pictures Imageworks. But yeah, for Paramount, I don't think I know the studios as well. I know that they were using a couple studios in Spain for I think like Wonder Park and such, which good lord.
Okay, so I did find it. So it looks like I think they were two different. I forget, did Mikros like shut down? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think they did.
I'm like trying to remember because there was
Mikros is still operational.
but for like the animation thing? Because I thought I heard something about the animation division shutting down. So, but it looks like the new movie's done by Real FX.
Oh, Real Effects, yeah, the Houston-based studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know about them. They did I think they did the Book of Life, and
Yeah, they did. Well, they have SpongeBob on their website, so I'm going to take it as that's legit. They also did Scoob, apparently.
oh yeah, they did Scoop, you can tell. Okay, so yeah, it looks like Mikros animation is still happening.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're still around. So that's good. I just think people are not interested in seeing movies based on TV shows in theaters. I mean, I know Stranger Things finale did well enough, but that's Netflix.
But that's because that's Stranger Things.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, Mike, do you have anything else to add about SpongeBob and what have you? Like,
I mean,
like,
the movie.
it's not the
is,
worst. It's just
the movie is entertaining. I laughed more than I didn't. The only other thing I have to say regarding movies based on TV shows, I think the one exception to that might be anime, because those movies on the big screen are like, I mean, we've talked about Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer before. That's like a whole league of their own.
no, exactly.
I figured out Mikros, what had happened was their parent company was Technicolor. They went bankrupt, and then Rodeo FX acquired Mikros early last year.
Okay. Business is fun. No. But that's really just how I feel about these two other animated movies. Like the Twits. Listen, I know the director was really happy and excited and proud about this production. It was his passion project. It's what he wanted to do. He made a big hullabaloo about the fact that Disney did not want to make an adaptation of the Twits because it was quote-unquote too mean-spirited. Well, I'm not giving him an inch, and I'm not giving him any credit, but I feel like there may be another reason why Disney did not want to adapt Roald Dahl's The Twits.
I mean, other than being Roald Dahl and, Disney's already been having to fight anti-Semitic allegations for years, so they're like, yeah, we're not touching that.
I just feel, well, outside of that, like, that's the most important part. But my thing is, if a Roald Dahl book cannot be adapted without having to add things, then maybe don't adapt it into a feature-length film. At the very least, like when Netflix and Wes Anderson did their Roald Dahl adaptations, Wes Anderson kept it to like 30-minute shorts, or even shorter than that. Like, I think the Benjamin Cumberbatch starring one is only 30 to 45 minutes, while the other three are like maybe 15 minutes and such. Perfect length.
I think we should have learned this lesson even as far back as like Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Like, you don't have to stretch the source material to feature length if the source material does not have enough material.
Even like the original Chuck Jones Grinch had to add the songs to make it 30 minutes. Like, and those are great because I assume Dr. Seuss wrote the lyrics for them.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Because they're very lyrical and Seussical in how they're done. But it's just like I understand why Willy Wonka, Matilda, the BFG got adapted. Because they could at least fill out a certain length for a movie with very little add-on or addition to the source material. The Twits, from what I recall, are just the Twits and the Muzzlewump critters things. Because it's not really like a story about found family and such. Which this is what the movie is. Like, and that's its biggest problem. It's a boring movie, despite the fact that it's only 90 minutes. It feels like they had to add in so much into the overall plot to make it feature length. And then it feels like they were like having to stretch everything so thin with that movie. And it frustrated me. And it was funny because I watched this way back in October when I was going to LA for Animation as Film. Completely forgot about it. Did not even think about it until we had to watch it for this podcast. And then I told Mike, I completely forgot how many songs there were in this movie. I thought there was only one.
And what I said is, yeah, that just proves how unmemorable the music was. Almost like the musical element of this was an afterthought.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I should watch it, but I'd probably rant about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not a good musical in the way that it progresses the songs. Like, the only good song, maybe, is the first one where the Twits sing about themselves and such. And
oh, that sounds insufferable.
Yeah, it kind of is. Because this movie is just really nothing. It's boring, it's uninteresting, it's not funny enough to be compelling. It has a decent idea for a story about how hateful people can corrupt the people of its community through means of hate and fear-mongering. But the Twits are, well, they're Twits. And it's amazing that the movie has to write its characters as dumber than the Twits. Even though there are some people in the movie who are, like, extremely aware of how bad and unintelligent the Twits are. Now, one of the few things I will praise the movie for is Margot Martindale as Miss Credenza as Twit. Margot Martindale is one of the great character actors. She is great. She is delightful. She is putting 100% into this role. She is having fun with this. And I don't hate Johnny Vegas as Mr. James T. Twit. I think he was miscast. And I think that has to do with the design of the character. Because Mr. Twit is this, like, round, burly, like, bearded, like, creepy individual, and he needed like a Matt Berry or a Stephen Root to...
Yeah, those two names I think would have been perfect. Even David Tennant would have given a more lively performance.
I mean, like some of this voice cast is nuts. Like, you got Emilia Clarke as this, like, I guess lice mom thing in the beard of Mr. Twit. And then the Mugglewumps are voiced by Natalie Portman and Timothy Simons, which, okay, listen, I love both of them, and I think Timothy Simons is the better of the two, but... And then there's, like, Jason Mantzoukas, which I did not clock as him the first time I watched this movie, because I could barely hear his normal manic chaos that he is normally known for as Mayor Wayne John.
It is very downplayed, his, like, you know, his usual manic energy, but in some of the later scenes, it does kind of come out a little bit.
Then there's like Alan Tudyk as the Sweet Toad, which that makes me think either I forgot about that in the book, or this was like an entirely made character, or, which I wouldn't be shocked if they did this, they pulled him from another Roald Dahl book, because the Sweet Toad does not sound like it would fit within the Twits story and tone. But Alan Tudyk is good as the voice for it. There's also like Nicole Byer, Phil Johnston, Charlie Berens, Rebecca Wysocki, Mark Prosk, which Mark Prosk is great as one of the adults of this one kid character they keep neglecting in the movie. And it's like the biggest suck up, because like Horvis would say something and then he's like, yeah, we want to know where the money's going, is something I also wanted to ask. And if you've seen him in What We Do in the Shadows, you know how he is. He's very good in that show and is a standout in the movie. But there was like very little that's actually funny about the movie. I feel like if you saw the jokes in the trailer, you kind of saw the quote-unquote best ones.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, I did like the, let me show you my diarrhea. And they're like, the fuck you just say? And like, and it's like, oh, you mean a diorama? And then Mr. Twit is like, no, man, that's disgusting. And, or, oh, what some of the other ones? Oh, yeah, now let's start making promises that we won't commit to.
Or one of my favorites, not on my watch, because they took my watch.
Oh, yeah. But, Mike, and Bree, here's a question.
Mm-hmm. Sure, shoot.
When you're making a movie that is about how mean-spirited characters are, where do you draw the line from mean-spirited but really entertaining to watch to mean-spirited and it's deeply unpleasant to watch?
I mean, it depends on the way that you look at it. Because if it's like, they're so like mean-spirited that you're rooting for their downfall, like that's one approach. Or the other one could be like, oh, they're like, you know, gay fabulous, like your Scar or whatever. You know, like that kind of, you know, like camp that you actively like them.
Right. And I think to me is that, like, you don't let the characters get anywhere. And the fact is that they let these mean-spirited characters get very far with their plans. It doesn't make a lot of sense story-wise. And it's not like in Beauty and the Beast where, like, the entire point is that the village is cynical, ignorant, and mean and spiteful. But here it's like, everyone just seems like, I mean, I get the point. The Twits used ignorance and hate to take control of people who are under a vulnerable situation in their lives because the town economy is in the crapper. And I'm putting way more thought into this Twits movie than I think anyone will ever do by describing this, because it sounds like it's a way better movie than it is.
Yeah, you're gassing them up. Like, why are you legitimizing the Twits?
But it's the execution where it falls flat. And it's also just like, you don't want to see these kids get screwed over, man. It kind of sucks to watch all these adults be like, we're going to ruin these kids' lives because we listen to a bunch of ignorant people. But, you know, that maybe that's just fitting a little too close to reality right now because Jesus.
Yeah, because I was reading the description and then I saw the ethnicity of the kids. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, that's. I think that's where ultimately my problems with this movie lay. Is it's weirdly both too mean-spirited, but also not mean-spirited enough.
Like, the Twits should have been, like, horribly mutilated. I mean, you have to wait until, like, the very end of the first part of the credits for them to watch them get eaten by a monster on an island and such. Or it's like, I think I would have rather preferred them just to straight up adapt the book, because at least, like, and maybe that's why they struggled and made, like, the entire subplot of the kids at the orphanage kind of thing, because there wasn't enough.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Roald Dahl's work, a lot of it is inherently mean-spirited. I'm like, I'm sorry, the guy was kind of a piece of shit.
Like, and part of that was, like, the point of the story of just, like, of, like, these characters working and surviving in a world that was hateful and mean, which, ironic, you know, it's the whole thing of like people with terrible politics can sometimes make great art, or at least memorable art. But here it's like, if the Twits were too mean-spirited to make the main characters, then I don't know. I feel like there could have been like an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or Konosuba
Yeah.
to make the worst people in the room entertaining enough for like at least 80 minutes.
What if the problem is honestly just this movie should have been funnier?
It really should have been funnier. It's got a lot of crass humor. I mean, the movie tries to be meta about itself. Like, you want to have a movie with complex storytelling themes and lowbrow humor. And it's like, no, nobody is asking for that. And like, yes, K-pop Demon Hunters has a burp gag at the beginning when they're on the plane and such. But it's also way funnier and way better executed than the humor here.
And it's like so real. Like, that is like the show that, hey, our women are real.
They are grounded and realistic when they're just like, tonight we will dine on your, like, the souls of your... Sorry, can you repeat that? Tonight we will dine on our... Sorry, hold on, just give it a second. The fans! We're gonna eat your fans! Like, in frustration, like...
And then mic drop.
I know, it's like, whoa! I mean, God. I mean, honestly, when I was talking about all three of these movies when I was watching them, I was like, I could be watching K-pop Demon Hunters. I could be rewatching 100 Meters right now. I could be renting or buying digitally Little Amelie. Because they have jokes that work, substantial stories, and complex themes. And, I mean, I know we're all kind of maybe now burnt out on K-pop Demon Hunters being as big as it is. That was going to happen. I understand. But it doesn't mean that it still isn't one of the funniest movies of the year.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, we all quote the, like, any internet is never wrong line. Or the, I made it for the tiger, but the bird keeps stealing it.
or even just couch.
You know, but the good thing about K-pop Demon Hunters is that with like all the detailing and world building, like every time you rewatch it, just for the record, I've watched it, I think 3 times. You're gonna notice something different every time. So like, there's incentive for you to like rewatch it if you're looking for something a little bit deeper.
Yeah, because you know, animation is made by a bunch of great team members, including animators, art, coloring, colorists, storyboard artists, and there are like little details that you can pick up on. With the Twits, there's nothing really there for it. And it's sad because there are some cool, like, cinematic moments, like when the Twits are running at the kids who are freeing the muzzlewumps or whatever they're called. And the camera has, like, this cool, like, GoPro shake to it. Like, as the characters are running and such. And, to be fair, when the Twits are able to be Twits to one another, there can be some funny moments. Like when they're about to fall into the dumpster of hot dog meat. They're both still trying to, like, hit each other to try to either, like, use them to fall on, like, to, you know, cushion the blow of falling into the dumpster. Or just, like I made this spaghetti, and I did something a little different this time. It's like, oh yeah, what? Like, do you notice the texture work, the smell, the flavor, and such? And Mr. Twit's like, why? What did you do? Oh, nothing, but... And then Margot, of course, having the line read of the movie, it's like, they're worms! You're eating worms! Like, she is carrying that whole movie.
She honestly is.
And when the Twits are, like, do end up getting, like, mixed up with the Sweet Toad, that is probably the funniest part of the movie, where they're all just like, oh my god, we're manipulating ignorant people in vulnerable situations to get ahead in life. We are monsters! It's like, I know, I can't believe how terrible we are. But yeah, it's just kind of whatever. Like, there's a reason why this one just really came and went, and it's not just because Netflix doesn't know how to market its movies. Like, even getting a pre-animation as film premiere, yeah, there's a reason why it got separated, and it wasn't just because Netflix wanted it to be treated with respect. I think they kind of knew they had a dud.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that.
And now with In Your Dreams, like the final movie, it's, well, two things. One, it is the first Netflix movie to have a new logo for some reason, where it has the Netflix Animation Studios logo, which, okay, was this made before they started canceling things left and right, or is this like what they're going to do from now on, where they outsource the animation for Netflix and such?
So apparently, Netflix Animation Studios is sort of a rebrand of Netflix Animation. So I guess that explains why this is the first movie to have that logo. They are still outsourcing to other animation production companies. Like this one, In Your Dreams, is this is Alex Wu's company, Cuckoo Studios.
Yeah, and this was apparently supposed to be the award season animated film for Netflix before, of course, obviously K-pop took everything, and then Netflix was like, sorry everyone else, push you aside, kick you down the 300 pit. We got a new front runner here. And it's kind of a shame. I understand why they were setting this one up, because it not only has a diverse array of animation and visual design. I mean, when they do the little anime homages, it's done in either a stylized CGI look of anime or it's done with 2D animation. And it does have a more substantial story that I wasn't expecting it to be. Because it's about these two siblings, kids, who are worried about their parents because the parents are going through some kind of growing pains. The dad is not near completing his new album. The mom wants to get a job somewhere else. And they may be on the verge of divorce because they can't figure out what they want to do emotionally because nobody talks in this movie. But the kids think, okay, we'll get the Sandman to somehow make our dreams come true because, Sandman, Dreamland, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it where they were going for it. It is a much darker movie than or at least more substantial movie than what the marketing made it out to be. Because it mostly focused on the antics with the kids and what's his name again?
Baloney Tony.
Yeah. Which I loved the animation on Baloney Tony. They don't stick with the animation style or rules every scene that he's in, but they try to keep him like a Muppet, like animation style, where his mouth just kind of goes like bar 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 bar, like a Muppet and such. And Craig Robinson is crushing it as Baloney Tony. He is funny. He has the best lines. He almost bails on the kids on multiple occasions because the kids are like, yeah, bring it on, Nightmare. We're going to take you down. Isn't that right, Tony? Tony's just like, glad I can help you right now. Good luck with that. Bye. And just bails on the scene. And then they're like, oh my God, Tony, you came back. And it's like, did you question that I was ever coming back? Because I questioned that almost up until this point. Like, this movie can be very funny, and it has some really out there jokes. Like, it does go through the same, nightmare scenarios of, your teeth falling out. Oh no, you're at school with a pop quiz. Or the naked dream, which I'm surprised they got away with some of the visuals in that bit. And they're like, oh my God, we're naked in the mall. And the brother's like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. And then Baloney Tony's like, not even a bit. And it's just like, wow, I'm a little shocked Netflix let this joke fly through. And maybe it's just because of how neutered comedy and humor has been in U.S. animation. I would have expected this from, a French movie or something like that. But no. And it does take advantage of the dreamlike imagery. Like the Breakfast Kingdom's a lot of fun to look at. It has, here's a sign that this one got a bigger budget than others. They were able to do actually big crowd work in animation.
Yes.
Which, that's a lot of extra freaking work. Especially when you meet the Sandman, who has these little sand minions which all have voice actors, shockingly. Um, like there's Kellen Goff, Tara Strong, Bob Bergen are in this. Also, Kristen Milioti, Matthew Yang King is in this, and I was surprised to see him get top billing, but I'm assuming he got this also because of his work in K-pop Demon Hunters. Sungwon Cho as Chad, an uninterested sandling.
Chad is the best out of all his sandlings.
And I like the idea that the Sandman can be a villain because he's mostly seen as like a good guy. Well, except for maybe like the what was it? The Powerpuff Girls episode where he becomes a villain because he puts everyone to sleep because he can't get sleep. And then the Powerpuff Girls go through basically give him a nightmare scenario, which is shockingly creepy now thinking about it. Like, it's like, man, that was kind of a dark episode for Powerpuff Girls, like early on in its run. To have like a creepy nightmare like visual and tone. But like I like the fact that this movie wants to try to tackle something like divorce. Granted, it doesn't. I don't know if it handles it well because they kind of dangle it in front of you instead of like spoilers. The family doesn't actually end up getting divorced. They're just, it's the fear of change. And that is what the movie is all about.
Yeah, basically.
And so, no, the parents don't end up divorced, but at least it's better handled than what Spellbound did, where it basically confirmed that the child care lead guilt-tripped the parents into staying together. They just have separate towers that they stay in. So everything's okay. And it's like, no, that's a horrifying thing to do. Or at least it doesn't pull a Wonder Park where it's all about grief and loss. But then it's like, oh no, my mom may or may not die of cancer. Oh, well, she's okay by the end. La 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 by the end.
Oh, God, remember when they were trying to make Wonder Park a thing?
They tried so hard, and then the director turned out to be a piece of shit. So it was the first animated film ever to go into a theater, wide release, and have no director credits. Like, people probably forget about that. Like, it's kind of wild that happened.
Yeah, it actually still makes me laugh to think about.
And then Nick buried the TV series that, like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, they tried to make a TV series. I think it aired... It was like one of those, like, dump investments where they dumped it all during, like, the afternoon when everyone was at school or something. And then...
Yeah, because Paramount wanted to, like, get rid of it as fast as they could.
Like, nobody... I don't think anyone watched that show. I think they saw previews, and then that's it. Because even on, like, torrent websites, there are no copies of this show around. It is basically lost media at this point.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm wrong, but I have not...
Which is crazy, because this only came out, like 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah, 2019.
That would be 7 years come March.
But yeah, the biggest problem with In Your Dreams is that it has a great story setup idea, but it doesn't quite know how to approach it. And I think they could have learned a little from Laika and Pixar on this situation, because they don't really focus on the fact that the Sandman is in any way a bad guy, or at least it's not revealed until way later by what's her name? Night Mara, voiced by Gia Caritas. And like at first I was thinking like Night Mara was going to be some kind of like visual metaphor for fear and such, but no, they give her a full design, and it's like, I'm sure some cracked out shipper is like, you know what? Take darkness from Orion in the Dark and Night Mara, and they'd make a good couple. Like, ship those two together.
I could see that, but I think what I would have done better in this movie is not treat the reveal that the Sandman is the villain like a Pixar villain twist, if you know what I mean. And that does kind of make sense given Alex Wu made his bones with Pixar as a story artist.
Yeah, and I also just wouldn't have paced it out as much as I would because as it did because they don't meet the Sandman until maybe the middle part of the movie, and they spend so much time in the dreams and our two lead characters waking up and in and out of sleep, which there are some funny jokes there. Like Mike, what was the one with what the brother said when he stole the Sandman book?
Oh, gee.
I remember. It's priceless, so that basically means it's free.
Oh, there we go.
But the way that they do this is multiple montages are shown throughout the movie, and it's I'm sorry, are we doing this because y'all ran out of time to tell this part of the story in production, or what happened here? Or what, was there just not a lot to do or go through with the story? So they had to do the perfect reality concept is the daughter is there with her parents, not divorced, but the brother's not there. And I just feel like they could have gone further with the Nightmare visuals because Nightmare doesn't really do much.
She literally only has one scene, and then you never see her again.
Yeah, she doesn't even help out in any way. I do like the fact that the parents get involved more with this, but I mean, it's just kind of whatever. I like Christian Milioti and Simu Liu as the parents. They're charming. They have their fun moments. I do love the scene where they're at the cringy Chuck E. Cheese ripoff place.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Which again, to the credit of the animators, I thought that was a real animatronic that they were using, but no, it was just CGI and whatever. But the texture work on it was really good. It looked like a worn out Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, and I love when the little brother leads this weird, violent revolution against one of the employees at the place dressed up as a character and such. And I mean, it is kind of funny. They're just what if you're the real bird or whatever? Then what's your favorite pizza? Cheese? Your last name is Pepperoni. You're fake. And the dad's oh God. Okay. Don't attack the mascot employees. Boy, I'm going to slip that guy a 20. It's a lot more fun to watch. It's not the worst movie of this lineup. It's the best out of 3 out of 5 movies I have in my Letterboxd ranking. But I don't know, man. I just think its story is kind of clumsy.
It does suffer from first feature film mistakes, but other than some minor blemishes, mostly in how the Sandman is handled, character design, great. The world building, the design of his castle, great. He should have been a bigger part of the movie instead of coming in halfway and then only meeting him once and then suddenly, oh, by the way, I'm the villain.
Really? Oh my god.
It's so slapdash.
I know. Cameron, you can hear my eyes roll.
I know. I'll say this. I do love Simu Liu's father line in this because they're wondering how the parents got to this dreamscape and such. And the dad's just I am a working dad of 2. I am always down for sleep. It has its moments. It's just it needed to be better because otherwise, luckily with K-pop Demon Hunters doing well, I don't think Netflix would have gotten in this year. Or In Your Dreams would have felt like the pity vote.
Yeah, I think Netflix ultimately did make the right call and be it's not that they're short on money, but they're okay, realistically, this is a huge shot. This is our best chance since Pinocchio. We have this so unlocked, guys, so let's just keep everything focused.
Exactly. They don't have an Aardman or something like last year or something like that. So yeah, they would have to really say, hey, we're going to get another Oscar. We're just not going to do it with In Your Dreams. Which is a shame because I want to see what Alex Wu could do next with a movie that feels a little more refined and focused. But we'll have to see how that goes.
I am rooting for him to find his voice, because like I think for the most part he does do a good job with this movie. I just need to see him continue to hone his craft.
All I can think about sometimes when I see these movies that like almost make it to be like a really solid gem or cult favorite. I mean, I think this one will be a cult favorite, mostly because of the story, thematic elements, and Craig Robinson as Baloney Tony. Is that if this was made in the 80s, this would have been like a real nightmare scape of like this would have had a little more edge. They would have pushed the themes a little harder. But at the same time, this probably would have ended up like a lot of those cult favorite animated films from the 80s where they were pushing the envelope, and yet people just weren't ready for that envelope yet. So,
yeah, pretty much.
There's a reason why the Secret of NIMH is a cult favorite and not a classic. I mean, it's a classic. It's just,
Yeah.
It just seems like I'm ready for US animation to really commit to the bit with some of these movies. And it just seems like the US side of things this year really didn't. With the few times it did, like The Bad Guys, Utopia 2, and K-Pop Demon Hunters. And I guess to a degree, Predator, Killer of Killers. But I'm ready for them to start treating its audience with respect, because when you don't do that, they stop showing up, for the most part.
I mean, because I don't know how much, like, this isn't animation related, but I kind of feel like it's still relevant. Cameron, have you watched the Stranger Things finale?
Nope.
Okay.
But go ahead, I don't care, so.
Okay, well, you know what, this isn't really spoiler heavy. This is just more like a context thing. So, basically, I'm not sure if it was like they were like hyper defending it or if that was like a studio mandate, but without getting into the whole thing of like they absolutely had such momentum at the end of season 4 and then like they used that over season 5, just getting that argument out of the way, just kind of setting that aside. It just feels like we are dumbing stories down, and I don't know if that's just people like, I don't think you could definitively say like one way or the other if it's completely like on like the creative team or it's these studio mandates that, keep repeating stuff. But I can say I'm not really a fan of like that type of storytelling. And I feel like it's more prominent in animation, but like when you see it in live action stuff like Stranger Things, it's like way more apparent.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're talking about. And I do think they are, because that's what happened with Elio, this beautiful personal story of someone feeling alone metaphorically in a universe for being like queer, got that story ripped out and put in with like this generic, kid encounters wacky alien shenanigans, which still has like touching moments, but it's a story that's not all that complex or compelling or emotionally gripping, especially with the fact that the original director got screwed over. It's like I'm over it, but it's like that's going to be Elio's legacy for me, is the fact that Pixar stepped in, said ill queer themes, and then kicked the story to the curb and made a more generic movie. And it's like, no, there's a reason why people went back like hell to K-Pop Demon Hunters, not just because it was on Netflix. It's like if this was released widely in theaters, people would have still gone back to K-Pop Demon Hunters to an extremely nauseating degree, because it had a complex story and it didn't dumb down anything. It literally like called out the mentor character for being pretty shitty by saying like, but I do love you, but not all of me. And she's like, yeah, I
hope that like studios learn from K-Pop Demon Hunters that audiences are ready for more complex storytelling.
Well, unfortunately, I feel like Barbie, we're gonna learn all the wrong lessons from this.
Of course.
Of course. Oh well, but you know what? This podcast is getting long. These movies are fine. it's a good representation of just how meh a lot of the US animation scene was this year.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's been a, like, bad year and, like, oh, all the movies have been shit. They've just been, like, really mediocre.
It's been a real underwhelming year. It's a very 2017, 2020 kind of year where the best, I mean, like, there were some good and bright spots, but a majority of it was just whatever. Especially with 2017, where it's just like, you're going to get Lego Batman, and it's going to take 6 to 7 months for you to get Coco. Sorry, that's just how the release schedule works.
I forgot. 2017 was like, what even was that? Because, you know, like, low-key, I could barely remember anything live action that came out in 2017.
That's the thing. I mean, like, outside of like Shape of Water and such, but like 2017 had like, it had almost the exact similar situation here, but they still released animated films throughout the year. But it was like, you got Lego Batman in February, and then you got Boss Baby in March. You had Cars 3, then Despicable Me 3, then Lego Ninjago, and then Coco. And then everything in between was like In This Corner of the World, whatever G Kids was releasing that year, like Napping Princess or The Girl Without Hands. Or, what was that movie? Like, hold on. Steady.
Reading Rainbow?
No. It was like this great Canadian animated feature that was called like Steady Horses or something like that. But it was like this beautiful, like, adopted child going to the Middle East for a poetry convention and reuniting with her dad. And it was actually like really touching.
Revolting Rhymes?
It was called Window Horses. And it was so good. It was like a real gem of the year alongside what was going to be, unfortunately, Blue Sky's last movie, Ferdinand, and Loving Vincent. That came out that year, so...
Wait, I thought Blue Sky's last full animated movie was Spies in Disguise.
Oh, wait, yes it was. Yes. I'm sorry. I made a goof. Well, the last time Blue Sky would ever reach an Oscar nomination, which, sad. Even though, I mean, I love Ferdinand and Spies in Disguise. It's just, those last two movies deserve better.
You know, like, it's still, like, the last canon one because it was still significant enough, and then enough people came along. Nemona's the canon last Blue Sky movie. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I get it.
That's the version of the story that will live with me. Okay.
I mean, hey, long live Blue Sky, like it says in Nimona. So, but you know what? We're starting off stronger this year with 2026 because we have way more animated films to talk about. Heavens forbid! What a concept! Releasing more animated films for audiences. Never thought of that before.
I know, it's so weird.
It is. But next time we're going to talk about Night of the Zoopocalypse and Lupin the Third, the movie, The Immortal Bloodline. So, that's it for this episode.
And until next time, Bree, where can everyone find you online?
Again, that's the age-old question, isn't it? But anyway, if you want an answer to that question, you can follow me at crazylemur.bsky.social. I am also on Instagram at lemurs1, where if you saw one of my recent stories over the weekend on the journey that is the Long Island Railroad, I had a pigeon with me on my train ride. Which, honestly, not the strangest train ride I've had. So if you like nonsense like that, and just the storytelling of life, just go follow me.
And Cameron?
You can find me on Blue Sky at camsiview.biz. I also have a website called camsiview.biz where I review animated films from around the world called The Other Side of Animation. I am finally getting back into my writing groove. It's going to be good. And I am a contributor to Media Magpies, your new one-stop shop for pop culture, media, and film and TV discourse and discussion. I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/camsiview. That's where you can find me.
And you guys can find me on various social media sites at CaptainK42. Check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. Or you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Renegade Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube at Renegade Pop Culture or YouTube at Organoid Zero. Find us on Podchaser and consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You can escape, so do we. That'll do it for this episode of Renegade Animation. We will catch you guys later. Peace out.